you say, hey.
That's right, we got Netisha Alie in the building. We're going to speak with her in a few minutes. She's representing Antigua in the Miss Humanity International Beauty Pageant. Definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and dolls in the building, we have the beautiful Netisha Alie. And she's currently entering the Miss Humanity International Pageant that's held in Barbados in October. Want to definitely welcome you to the Rifa Madness Show. Currently, you live in Antigua and you were raised and born in Dominica. You grew up on the countryside of Petit Soufriere, Dominica, and your dad is a crop farmer. Now that's quite a down-to-earth background. What was it like for you growing up?
Growing up was really interesting for me because I was overprotected by my parents and my whole family. I'm also the last one, so everybody applied pressure on me to make sure that I did everything right. They wanted to help me out with a lot of things and ensure that I did what I have to do and didn't get into too much trouble.
Tell me some of the normal things that you were not allowed to do.
For example, if there were certain social activities that were being held in the community or places outside of the community, I would not be allowed to go. I would mostly have to go to school or go to church. I was in youth groups as well, so if we were having something at church, I could go to that. But anything extra social, like if they were having a little dance or something, I was not really allowed to go to these things.
How has that affected you as an adult?
I did get enough time to socialize with my friends, so it didn't treat me too bad. But right now that I'm an adult, going out, I don't really do it as often as other young people my age would probably do. I usually stay back home and be more laid back as a person, not too much of the active party type.
Okay.
So I think probably that's where it came from.
You earned your associate degree in psychology and sociology at the age of 18. I guess the overprotectiveness, it was a good thing. What was it like for you being 18 with associates in psychology and sociology? Mind you, 18 years old is the age where people are trying to figure themselves out. And here are you with the ability to figure out other people. And this is interesting to me. What was that like?
At a young age, when I would talk to my friends, I was able to help them, like offer them advice. Some of them were actually older than I am, and they would think that I was much older based on how I spoke. So, and I've seen friends in my neighborhood raise up, and their parents probably had some problems understanding them, and they would confide in me because I was very easy to talk to. Actually, I'm still easy to talk to.
It seems that way.
That helped me, and I felt like psychology could help me to improve on that as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm smiling to myself. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I always had an interest in psychology. My main thing is I like to know how different people think. I like to know what motivates different people to say the things that they do. You know what I mean? And growing up, it did cross my mind to study psychology. But how do I say this and not be offensive? A lot of times, the people who are in those fields, they're kind of loopy. So I was afraid to become loopy. I was afraid of that.
I've heard that comment before. Actually, at college, some of my classmates would say that our lecturer was crazy. But I've heard that comment before.
Because you know, when you say you have a degree in psychology, people think that means you have it together. It's a pressure in itself. Do you know what I mean? But they don't understand it's one thing to figure yourself out. It's totally easy to help somebody else out, you know, from a logical standpoint. So, yeah. So, currently, you are at the University of the Caribbean in Jamaica.
Yeah, I'm enrolled, and I'm supposed to start my classes in September.
All right. And you also teach and you volunteer at the Salvation Army Home for Girls. How do you balance all of this?
My job as a teacher ends at 1:15. So I have a little extra time to go ahead and do that. And most of the time when I have to plan or mark papers, I would stay back at work an extra hour because I do have some of my students who need extra help. And after that, I could go to the Salvation Army for another hour. And also, I could do most of my written work because it's my planning, so I could do that in the night. So it's all about the time management and ensuring that everything comes to pass. Sometimes I do procrastinate a little bit, but it's just because I get tired. But I still try to do my best and ensure I keep all my deadlines and everything.
How did you get into pageantry?
Currently, I'm also a model. I may have not mentioned it earlier, but I'm a model.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Thank you. There's a lot of pictures of me on Facebook, and the founder of the show is my friend. She met me online and said to me if I was interested. She described the show and told me about it, and I said to her that I'm interested in it because of the cause part of it, aspect of it. So we had to focus on something humanitarian cause happening in our country. So that captured my interest, and I decided to take part.
The Miss Humanity International Pageant is not your regular pageant. It's a pageant with a cause. Okay? And what is your cause? A matter of fact, tell us about the Miss Humanity International Pageant, and we get into what is your cause.
So Miss Humanity International is almost like Miss World, but it has attached to it, you have a humanitarian cause, you fight for human rights in your country, and you bring it to the attention of your audience. It has the usual segments of evening wear, swimwear, and the cultural part where you're supposed to use your national wear and so on to expose. It's going to be held in Barbados, as you mentioned earlier, and it will go for an entire week. It's basically a beauty pageant with brains and also heart. You have to have a lot of heart to take part in that show. You have to think about other people, want to help them, want to bring these things to a person's attention, because some of these things are happening and most people would not even know, or they cast a blind eye on it. So that's mainly the focus of the show, to bring out issues happening around the world, because we have delegates from different countries. We have some from the Caribbean, and we also have delegates from Canada. We have some from Africa and so on. I think it's going to be at least 50 delegates.
Wow, that is like Miss World. Now, we're going to get into what your cause is, but first I must ask you, so since you have such a multicultural island background, which island will you be representing in the Miss Humanity pageant?
Since I live in Antigua now for a few years, I will be representing Antigua.
All right. So let's get into your cause. What is your cause for the Miss Humanity International pageant?
My cause for the pageant is abandoned children. And I'm not just talking about abandoned children by parents who just do not want to have children, but I'm also speaking for the children who have parents but they're too busy working to give their children the amount of attention that they would need to grow properly as a child. For example, as a teacher, I have seen how it affects children in many ways. It affects their behavior at school, it affects their grades. For example, I know that it's difficult for some parents now because of the economic crisis all over the world. So some parents will have to do 2 jobs, and then they barely spend enough time. They drop the child to school in the morning and do not see them until afternoon. For example, my school finishes at 1, and some parents do not pick up their children until 4 o'clock. So I would probably leave work, say 2, 3 o'clock, and I leave students there on their own waiting on their parents, because their parents probably at work and can't find some free time or anybody else to come and pick them up. So I was focusing on that part, and also children who actually come out to the streets to try and beg for $1 or just do not have any parents. They'll probably be in a home and so on. So I'm focusing on 2 sides of abandoned children.
That's deep. That's deep, because a lot of times when you say abandoned, I didn't even think for 1 minute that it could be parents that were too busy working, because the flip side to the whole parents working, they work extra so they can, be equipped to take full care of their kids. But at the same time, those jobs, they pull them away from the home. I am a modern person, but I'm a firm believer in parents taking their kids to school themselves if they can, picking them up and being at home with them to discuss how their day went at school. This is one of the reasons why I have my own studio and everything, but I work on my own time, so I can spend time with my daughter as much as possible.
Well, I could suggest that even though that you cannot do it all the time, but at least try to make a set time, a continual one. Say once a month, you're going to take your child to the beach. You're going to say, this day is for my son, it's for my daughter, it's for my kids, and I'll take them to the beach. So at least they're going to have something to look forward to, because some might be old enough to understand that the parents are busy trying to help to take care of them. But at least try to set one day aside in a month or in a week to focus on that child and give them all the attention that they need. Because sometimes that's why children misbehave. Because they want the parents' attention, and that's the only way they can get it, by misbehaving, because mom is going to come and discipline me anyway.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's why they misbehave.
I definitely have set times in a day for my daughter, for sure. Definitely.
Very good. I'm happy to hear that.
Well, you're deep. I'm impressed with you because I'll be honest with you, a lot of pageant girls, they say what they think they should say. But you're saying what you mean, and you mean good things, and that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, every day on the show, I have a question of the day.
Oh, boy.
Crazy, controversial, you know. But today is all about, say you were to go to the club with a young man.
Mm-hmm.
Would you feel obligated to dance with him the whole night? Would you go and dance with other people? Because sometimes men feel away if you go to the club with them and you dance with other people and not them, friend or not. Sometimes they do feel away about it. What do you think?
Okay, if I had to go to a club with a young man, I would not feel obligated to dance with him all night. For some example, I would probably want to dance on my own, or we could do certain songs together and try and be relaxed. If I would have to dance with somebody else, it would probably be a friend of both of ours, but not to just leave him and go dance with another guy and then come back. No, I would not have done that.
All right. See, very ladylike. Love it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What do you want the world to know about Netisha Alie?
Simply, Netisha Alie is a young lady who is very passionate about what she do. I want to make sure that everything I do is to set an example for the younger ones. I love children, which is why I do what I do. I'm also very down to earth. It's very easy to talk to me. I have lots of friends because of it. And I try to have a positive attitude towards a lot of things to ensure that I do not get too stressed out.
All right. And where can you be found?
I'm in Antigua, the beautiful island of Antigua. Facebook, Netisha Alie, Netisha Alie. I also have a fan page too. It's Tisha Alie, Tisha Alie. That's where I post most of my modeling pictures.
All right. Definitely eye candy for the gentleman. And ladies, if you want to know how to dress, you know, you can check out her fan page too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Beauty and brains and heart. That's Ms Netisha Alie, and we had her in the building today on the Rifa Madness Show. And I want to thank you so much for being here. And we need to shout out Shabazz. Shabazz did this link. Big up Shabazz! Woohoo!
Oh yes, thank you very much, Rifa. Thank you very much, Shabazz. I am so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm very happy that I met the two of you. Thank you so much.
Same here. All right.
Okay, I want to also mention that persons can go to the Miss Humanity International fan page. We have a page on Facebook. You can like it. You can click my picture. Well, you can like my picture for a vote for me to win the Viewer's Choice Award. Thank you.
All right.
It's the Rifa Madness Show. You a candidate. Yeah.
That's right. Lodge up Netisha Alie. Wishing her the best in the Miss Humanities International Pageants. Right about now, it's time to represent where you from. You're locked into the Rifa Madness Show.